Okay. About to start this up. Let everybody get on in here. Chill out for a minute before we get started. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with that first one. I just started it and then it ended all all at the same time. I don't know what happened, but hey, we gonna push on. Just give me one moment. I'm gonna let some more people file in here before I get started. Much love to the Curly Ray, Cool One Only, Antonio Lopez. We got the Good Austin in here filing in. Much love, all y'all. Much love. We're about to get to it. Just give me one moment here and we'll get started with the show. You dig? Okay. I wanted to start this out talking with you guys about just how proud I am of everybody and everything that's been happening today. Everything that's been happening recently with this fan base, with this fandom. I'm just super thankful and grateful that all you guys have been here and that you guys have put in all this time, um, this sweat, equity, like all that stuff. Because it is not a small feat to do these things. Um, it takes time, effort, creativity, passion. It takes emotion, will, you know, sometimes staying up late, sometimes not, spending all the time that you would want to with certain people. It really does take a village to do this thing. And I'm very mindful of that. And because of that, um, I just want to make sure that I'm very clear, super early in this space, just how proud I am and how grateful I am of all of you guys that have been here and that have been continuing to rock out. Because, um, without you guys, there is none of this, right? Like Zach doesn't engage with our tags. There is no articles being written. There is no, uh, you know, there's just none of that stuff without all of you guys. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that first and foremost, because I'm super proud of everybody and super proud of everything that's been going on. And yeah, I just had to open with that because that's very important to me. You guys have been amazing, amazing. Now with that said, let's go ahead and get started talking about the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We got the homie Floyd Lawton in the building. If y'all ain't know, this man a few days ago had Zach repost his tweet pretty much. And it was a perfect tweet, just like I said, man. It was like well crafted, well thought out, had a dope video to it. Was also having the hashtags on there and the trending day, and I think that that's really giving us a big push in the media, and you're seeing like a lot of articles being written, especially like right now, um, about what we've been doing. So, shouts out to the homie Floyd Lawton, man. Shouts out to everybody in here that's just been rocking out. And um, I also wanted to talk with you guys about Project Red Sun. You know what I'm saying? Because I know y'all ain't know what was coming with that, right? Yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to share that with you guys today. As you guys know, I've been hyping up Project Red Sun for quite some time. I had no idea that Zach was gonna end up um you know, actually um like interacting with the hashtags and giving us a big push. But so I was already planning to go on down there to Netflix headquarters here in LA. And I had to put the suit on, you know what I'm saying? I got a new black suit, and I definitely went up to Netflix HQ with the sign, right? And we definitely were able to make that happen. We got some dope pictures. I was able to hang in the area for a little bit. I'll just say that. I'll just say I was able to hang in the area for a little bit. Right. And no, it was just a super dope process, right? And I'm glad that I could get that done for you guys and to be able to share that with y'all now, because that was like really special. I mean, to be down there after Zach has reposted the hashtags officially, right? And then not only that, but then to have the actual written, like I felt like I was walking down there with the stone tablets, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, cause he signed this way back in the day, which was also something that had kind of let us know that we were going in the right direction, right? So um just being able to go down there and get that done with that poster that was hand signed by Zach, that did feel a little bit different. That felt a little bit different, and you know, it was just a dope process, and it'll be able to get that done. So, um, yeah, I just want to thank you guys for rocking out. I know everybody got a chance to see it, and I've been getting some great feedback. So, man, it's always dope. And I've been getting some trolls too, which is always helpful, because that's when you know that shit is getting shared, because you get trolls. You know what I'm saying? You get trolls with people showing up like, oh my god, you know, like, do these people have jobs? Yeah, bro, you sure do. You know what I'm saying? But no, this has just been a great time, man. And I just want to highlight everybody that's been putting in work, and it feels good to be putting in all this work, right? And to actually be getting acknowledged for it. Like, I mean, I don't want to talk about other hashtags and stuff, but they're doing a lot of tweeting, and I ain't seen no articles. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it's piggy. Like, if they're mentioned, it's piggybacking off of what we're doing. Like, it's mainly our conversation. I would hate to have my entire fucking community tweeting a dead hashtag, right? Like, I would hate to be up here endorsing people tweeting into the ether, tweeting into the abyss, right? Wasting your time, wasting your effort, wasting your passion, right? I could not bring myself to do that. There's no way that I could bring myself to do that. I had a talk with Leon last night, you know, and I brought up something, and he was like, yo, that's a good question. We should actually discuss that. Like, what do we do if that happens? But I brought up, what if Zack Snyder reposted Restore the Snyderverse? Do you think that there would be all this confusion about what's going on and what hashtags people should use and what we should do on a trending day? Right? Imagine that happened. Do you want to know what we do? We said, yo, flat out, we'd incorporate that shit. We just add Netflix. You know what I'm saying? But no, like, yeah, we'd still have to, we'd have to change our fucking game plan up. But did that happen? No. Did Zach follow the ROEs? He absolutely did. Does that let me know that we already knew we were on the right path anyway, right? Yeah. Today, um, in this space and on this stream later, because there is a stream that's gonna accompany this thing. No, we're gonna have some honest conversations because there's a few things I've been like holding back on saying just because I haven't wanted to, you know, kind of like really let you guys in on like what's going. Like we've been known that what we were doing was the only way that this shit was going to work. We've known that. We've known that for quite some time. And we got some background clarification that this was the only thing that was going to work, right? So we tried to, just keep garnering, excitement and passion and keep things going. Like, hey, um, you know, let's just not. But this is a prime example. One of those other hashtags is doing better than Sale Snyderverse to to Netflix. Do you see it in the entertainment section in trending? No, you do not. Why? Because that shit is tweeting into the ether. Imagine if we were all on one accord, right? Imagine we were all on one accord. We're getting this done regardless anyway. We have not needed these people's help. We never have, right? You guys have seen it. Y'all have been there since the beginning. Y'all have seen people come and go, right? But the message has never changed. What we've been doing, still doing cartoons and cereal, still doing shirts on Ink to the People. Y'all can head over there right now. Got two fire Project Red Sun shirts. You know what I mean? Because Project Red Sun also had a shirt that accompanied it, right? So yeah, we've been doing the same things this entire time. Now you're starting to see the fruits of the labor, right? So yeah, yo, when I look at what is going on right now, and I think about what we got going on in the background and what we're trying to build and create and do, and some of y'all in here know what's going on, right? You guys will know. Floyd Lawton, know he like said it because of stuff like that. I think that's why we're experiencing this happening right now. We are truly operating from a 100% get this shit done and be effective kind of model. That is it. I've had to forego tons of things, right? I've had to forego um certain things when it comes to content creation and making money, right? I've had to forego mad time, mad money, keeping this thing going. I at the drop of a hat had to fly to New York and go to a release party with my line of work, and especially back then, like I have a schedule, I have clients. That was not easy, right? Even going to the red carpet, right? It was like, am I going to be able to go or am I not going to be able to go? Like almost right up until the day of. right? Was going to go get my suit tailored just for the possibility of being able to go. This thing that we're building right now is going to take a massive amount of everything. But luckily, we've been able to give whatever this thing has required of us, right? For us to get these things, it's required these types of things from me. It's required these types of things from Leon. It's required these types of things from Austin and Floyd and APAS. And it's required these things. So that's why we've kind of always operated with this thing, especially when that shit happened with old girl. Like I ain't gonna front. Like that changed everything about how we operated. We were like, yo, we'll never have that kind of situation happen ever again. Ever. And it didn't. So that's why we've always operated on whether or not who's here, regardless, the work has to get done. The work has to get done. And you guys have been showing up to the call. And we're getting further and further and further and closer to our goal. Every time I look up, we just a little bit closer. Now, ain't it starting to feel like we a lot a bit closer? Right? Because even though everybody else about to act like they don't know what that shit mean, I know what that meant. That's why I said earlier, could you imagine a world where he would have came out and reposted restore the Snyderverse and us not incorporate that into what we're doing somehow? That does not make sense. I have dedicated way too much energy into bringing this thing to fruition to try to make myself be the squeaky wheel, saying, yeah, I see he posted that, but you know, I know. And our numbers rising, right? I saw somebody irrelevant that made a comment the other day, because just like always, I get these things sent to me and I see them, right? But somebody was making a comment, oh, yeah, they did. It's like 5,000 tweets. I mean, yeah, I mean, I was a Snyder fan years ago, but yeah, man, James Gunn is where it's at right now. And, I know I'm a stalker and I have a restraining order on me, but I'm still on the internet talking about other people's business, right? But that literally happened. It was just funny that our trending numbers were being mocked when we weren't trying to trend. That was literally just a post from Zach, and it went up. That was organic, bro. Like that was not a focused effort on trying to get something to trend, like at all. And so, but these are the things that they say about you guys. These are the accusations that are levied against us, right? These people were supposed to be fans at one point. As I've stated so many times, the weirdest thing ever to me about what goes on in this little thing, this like little Zack Snyder thing, is it seems to me like if somebody don't like you as a person, they stop liking Zack Snyder's films. It is the weirdest shit ever. I told Leon, bro, we could fall out tomorrow. It could be fuck you, bro, forever. That still don't change how I feel about BVS. What the fuck is like? What is up with this shit? This is the weirdest thing ever. right? Hey, I'm gonna not listen to Zach and try to undermine what he just endorsed. Imagine if all those posts that was about Zack Snyder tonight or today, rather, because we still early as hell in the day. You know what I mean? We still early as hell in the day, and it's already going crazy. How many articles will come out today? And everybody else is kind of piggybacking off what we're doing. We're gonna keep being that beacon as a beacon for the industry. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that what they called us? I didn't I didn't say that. I didn't make those words up, right? We got we got Leon in the building. As soon as you get your mic situation straight, bro, the floor is all yours, bro. I'm about to have some of this here smoothie, you know,
What's good? What's
and,
good? You get me?
and yep, and I'm gonna let you cook, brother. The floor is all yours.
Yo, first and foremost, everybody, you guys are great. This is awesome, and it feels like a really fun and good day. I see the energy. There's a lot of creativity being put into posts. Like this is dope. I haven't started reaching back into like my old archives and started reposting stuff. I was like, this feels good today, and it feels good today because we're fresh off the heels. You hear the little kitty cats in the background. We're fresh behind Zack Snyder reposting hashtag sells ZSJL to Netflix and hashtag sells Snyderverse to Netflix, thanks to Floyd Lawton's dope post, right? Which came behind Zack Snyder reposting and saying cool stuff about an article that discussed his Man of Steel trailer, right? All of this is surrounding the conversation of the DCU and what's supposed to be happening next with, whatever projects they have going on, right? Zach is telling everybody essentially, the way I look at it is that he's telling everybody essentially, like, look, I'm still interested in DC and continuing my saga. And he's gone as far as to say, with that repost, the way I translate it, the way a lot of people in the fandom, I think most of the fandom translated it is, seeing it go to Netflix would be great because, I mean, let's face it, he's going to get the most creative leeway, right? He's going to get all the blockades knocked down, the majority of them, and they're going to let the man cook, right? I think we can all understand that. So for me, I'm a little perplexed when I see certain levels of engagement and disengagement. Look, I'm cool with anybody using whatever hashtag they want to use. It really doesn't matter. Like the algorithm looks at it like it's all about sell Snyderverse to Netflix anyway. If you pay attention to the way they gather the trending information, it really doesn't matter. You can use restore. You can use I hate Zack Snyder's guts. The algorithm's gonna put it in the same trending category because the conversation that has taken over the zeitgeist is it's all translating to sell Snyderverse to Netflix. The problem that myself and Sky has is this. Some of these things look very intentional in opposition and to antagonize those that are focused solely on sell Snyderverse to Netflix. That's the problem. It's the seemingly antagonistic nature in which people are operating. I've had people DM me literal tweets that people are saying, F those guys, or F these hashtags, or F this and F that. And that is before we did any streams. We did these streams in response to these things because we saw, I don't even want to say some, we saw a lot. And I got DMs. Some of that stuff is bot stuff. where people are coming and saying dumb shit, and I don't pay attention to that. It's just bot stuff, right? But when I see certain things from accounts that are like, yeah, yeah, we got you guys back, thumbs up, or hey, we don't really rock with you guys, so we're gonna ignore you. When I see things from those accounts that aim towards talking crap, making us look bad, or that selling it to Netflix is a dumb idea, or Zack Snyder basically saying by reposting that he's on board with it, like he's already verbalized in interviews. When I see people acting silly, dumb, and obtuse about it, it just makes me scratch my head, man. And it's strange that myself and Sky, I'm just going to use us as examples, get things thrown at us like, well, you need to stay in your lane and shut the fuck up and just do whatever you do with your movement. It's like, I thought it was for all of us, man. Like, I thought we were all in this, right? I thought the goal was to get the work to Zach, and I thought he was at Netflix. I didn't know this was Blood versus Crips. You know what I'm saying? I thought we were past that once we realized like Warner Brothers doesn't really want to rock with us, and Warner Brothers said, "Nah, I'm not restoring anything for you guys. It's over." We've moved on to James Gunn and his DC universe that's coming out in July. I'm not restoring anything. I thought we were past this whole trying to play semantics and pretend like we don't know what's going on and we don't know what to do next. I thought we knew what to do next, which was sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix. When's the last time Zack Snyder talked about restore the Snyderverse? I just want to know. That's kind of a rhetorical question, but ask yourselves that.
I was asking, where's the articles at, bro? Because I'm just seeing Netflix stuff in these articles and in these headlines, and it's like, bro, but they're doing numbers apparently. So it's like, where is all that? It's because I don't know if you were here for that part, but I went on a little bit of a rant. I'm like, bro, I would hate to be asking for everybody's passion, emotion, time, effort, and all that stuff just to have them tweeting into the ether, bro. I would feel terrible, just me personally, asking somebody to do that when I know that that's what's going on.
Well, Sky, let's have a conversation back and forth here. So that's because when you originally came up with the idea, you came up with the idea because we found out that according to the algorithm and Warner Brothers, that they killed a lot of the hashtags. Correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. They were blacklisted.
So once those hashtags got out there in the ether, now that you're doing them, they can reach whatever numbers they reach. Warner Brothers isn't listening, right? So if in turn you say, oh, well, I'm using them for Netflix, then why do I see posts from specific accounts that are heading up and riding out for Restore? They're not utilizing anything Netflix related. They're not even talking to Netflix. That's my question. Like, is Netflix bad? Are they the black sheep of entertainment? What is the reason? Who are you talking to when you're saying Restore? Who are you conversing with? Who are you asking when you say Restore? When you say in the nightmare, when you say make the thing, sell the, like, who are you talking to as an audience member? That question was answered when Sky came up with the idea, hashtag sells ZSJL to Netflix. When I helped to refine said idea by saying hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix, that conversation was answered. That question was answered. We're saying, let's talk to Netflix because that studio doesn't want to do anything. That would in turn create an uproar and an uptick and a craving from other studios to maybe get in and get a part of the conversation too. That's what this has been about. I thought this isn't about egos. This isn't about like I don't care. I personally don't care. Like, there's been many a times where I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, if they don't really want to do this, like, I don't see the need to keep doing it. But these are conversations I'm having with myself. Conversation that I've hinted towards Sky, right? And Sky has been the fire of hope constantly, constantly. Whenever I feel just a little bit like I'm just like, I don't really see the point. Like, they seem like they don't really care to rock with it like that. You know, I've never said this out loud to Sky, really. I just kind of hint at it because that's feelings getting in the way. The bigger picture is a lot of you guys are rocking with it, which is why there's articles, which is why Forbes picked it up back when, which is why there's continuing to be conversation being had almost on a, like, almost, I want to say weekly. There's something coming out talking about selling the Snyderverse to Netflix. So I get out of my own way because I'm a human being, right? And I'm not trying to like have a therapy session here, but I'm a human being. Like, at the end of the day, I look at my life and the bigger picture of my life, and I say, I got a lot of stuff going on that I enjoy. I don't really have to deal with any drama. I cut drama off at the head and just keep it pushing. This takes some modicum of sacrifice to get out of whatever you're doing in life and divert time towards this stuff. This stuff doesn't just happen in a vacuum. This stuff doesn't just happen out of thin air. This stuff takes passion, takes time, and sometimes it takes money. So when I see people say, fuck you, fuck them, fuck those hashtags for whatever reason, unprovoked, because we've said we have rules of engagement with the hashtags because we're trying to refine things and make things crystal clear, because this fandom was called fractious and scattered and toxic. We're trying to make it clear and focused so that everybody that's important and that can do something of importance, like sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, purchase the Snyderverse, reproduce it, keep it going. Those important people can say, oh, well, that's what they want. This is what they're asking, etc., etc. When I see people coming against all of that, it just makes me scratch my head, you know? Anyway, I don't want to go on too long. I kind of want to bounce off the Sky because my energy shifted today. After seeing all this, I was a little annoyed last night. You can ask Sky. But seeing all this made me happy. So I'm actually tapping into feelings and thoughts that I kind of was like, fuck it. But they do need to be addressed, you know, so that people can get a clear picture of why we think the way we think. I know it's not going to be respected by everybody because they're hearing me right now and they're saying it's ego. It's not. I don't care. I don't care. As far as like on a level of, is this doing something for me or not? I only care in regards to the mission. I'm thinking of this very militaristically. Like, I care mission wise. Personally, I'm just like, I could literally quit today and I wouldn't give a damn, because the people who want that to happen, I don't care about them. They're nobodies to me. They're nothing. So it's like, why even entertain them? I could just quit this shit, keep making the great amount of money that I make in my life. I'm able to travel freely and live my life. I do all sorts of different things. Like, I look at my life and I'm like,
Bruh,
it's great. I don't need this shit.
Bruh, somebody saw my picture and was like, do these guys even have jobs?
Right, but they don't even understand. Like, we're able to do this because of what we do in life. Like right now, I didn't take any clients because I was like, I'm good. I don't need the money today. It's fine.
Yep.
I can still take one
I was
later.
like, hey man,
But
I was like, yo, hey, you already know. I was like, yo, I can just chill today and not have to worry. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be just fine. Today was important. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
But yeah, man, this has been a wonderful morning, dude, and we off to Great start, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep going. We're gonna have some streams and stuff later. Let me get South Cali up here. He's been waiting for a while. Hear his thoughts real quick. What's going on, South Cali? But no, while you hadn't vocalized that with me, Leon, I've already known that that's been the case. It's been pretty obvious. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. And
It's been pretty obvious, dog.
I just don't think people, they think that like it's, I don't know what they think, to be honest, completely. I know I have an idea, but it's almost like we're loser robots who just wake up out of bed programmed to, sell Starverse on Netflix, sell Z, and it's like, nah, man, we're people who care about this thing being done. And when we see Zach give us a leg up and a boost, that's dope. He's literally telling us, hey, man, don't give up, guys. I see you and I see what you guys are doing. Keep fighting the good fight, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I see people act obtuse or in actual opposition, that shit pisses me off. So I'm just like, like Zach, this is the fans you have, Zach. These are your fans. Take the bad with the good, like I said earlier in a post. These are your fans, man.
We got South Cali guy. What's going on, bro? How you feeling, man?
How's it going? You guys hear me all right? Am I coming in okay?
Yep, we can hear you, bro.
Sure. No, I haven't really spoken much about, say this Zach reposted Floyd's tweet. So I mean, when I first saw that, I immediately I read the tweet and I was like, did he tag Zach? And my first initial reaction was, I'm looking at it like, no, Zach, for whatever reason, either it popped up on his feed or whatever, but I'm sure he gets multiple, like constantly, like 24/7, getting posts
Wait,
of,
hold
release or
hold on, real quick, South Cali. Wasn't that Darshan trying to crash out on you? Talking about, wait, he did tag Zach, and then he was like, wait, no, he didn't.
I honestly didn't remember. I remember seeing it. I'm like, nah, did he? I was like, maybe he did. And then I checked. I was like, no, I don't think he did, man. No, I don't think so. But but I'm like,
That
yeah,
was pretty funny. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm like, I I saw the tweet that Floyd put out there, and then Zach retweeted it, and I'm thinking to myself, Zach sees posts like this all the time for restore, for release, for make the app back like movie, like all of these different hashtags, right? And for whatever reason, I'm just gonna assume Zach saw that tweet, the full tweet, everything on it, including the video, and was like, "Yeah, that's it. That's the one that I want to show support for." I saw that, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if Zach is willing to go ahead and retweet that, and it doesn't seem like he has any problems retweeting that, why should other fans have a problem? Like I in that moment, to me, squash all the bull, squash all the whatever hate that you may have for certain individuals, for whatever the hashtag, however you look at this hashtag, just squash it. Like Zach literally squashed it in that moment. He literally retweeted it and saying, look, you guys, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. If you want the Snyderverse, this is a way, this is a decent, not even decent, this is actually a very viable way of actually getting it done. We know Warner Brothers doesn't want to do this. We know they've explained it to us like time and time again, over and over again. We know what they want. They want the control.
Bruh.
By all means, go ahead and have it.
South Cali. They about to promote Peter Safran, dog.
Yeah,
Right?
I, I
Yo,
mean,
that whole it's so crazy over there. I don't know why they want it over there, bro. But sorry to
I
interrupt.
mean, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
no, yeah, yeah, I mean, personally, when it comes to WB, I mean, I've said this. I know I've said this multiple times. When it comes to WB as a studio, I am done. I don't want them having DC anymore. The way that they've treated this IP, the way that they treated the actors, the way that they've treated directors in the past, the way that they continuously continue to still treat many actors and many directors. I mean, why? Like, if I was somebody in the industry, I know I wouldn't want to work for WB. I go with every other studio aside from WB. And I wouldn't want my money, my time, my hard work going to them just so that way at the 11th hour they can literally just chop it and say, no, we're not doing it or it's a tax write off. Like, no, I'm sorry, but it's just, I'm done with WB. That's like, I'll support any fan who wants to use the store. By all means, use it all you want. I'll like it, I'll retweet it. I don't care. use it. That's fine. You're still showing your support for Zach. At the end of the day, cool. I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, to me, I don't use restore just because I know that's like I'm asking WB to do something because I know that's where this hashtag is mainly focused towards. It's towards WB saying, "Hey, restore it," and I'm just like, I'm done with WB. I don't want to take my engagement and my attention to them anymore, other than when I'm making fun of them, but it's at their own expense because they caused it themselves. So I'm just pile on like everybody else does. But when it comes to Zach, if he comes out and he says restore the Snyderverse, fuck it. Like cool, I'll put it out there too. But that's because Zach was the one who definitively put it. So far, the only thing I know that he's put out there is he's retweeted Floyd's. He's retweeted his tweet, and it says South Snyderverse on Netflix, South DSA on Netflix.
Bro, I gotta jump in here
That was
real
enough
quick.
right there for me.
I gotta jump in here real quick. I gotta jump in here real quick because there's still a bit of hesitation, right? And I think it's just weird to feel hesitation with this fandom, and it's like almost like it's like pulling teeth. Like like Zach, he might. No, he did. He did. Think about this. Think about this. He reposted it, and then he went to fucking Vero and put the link on Vero. The man scanned the tweet. He read the tweet. He read every inch and every ounce of it. He reposted it and then put the link on Vero. Are we calling Zach an idiot? I just want to know. I just want to know. Let's stop playing and dancing around this shit. He saw it at the very least twice because he reposted it and then he posted the link on Vero. Zach knows what he's doing. He saw the two hashtags. He did not do this by accident and because he thinks that the freaking edit is cute. We've seen millions of fire edits. I've seen edits better than that one. Y'all think it's about the edit?
Bro. I've seen some fire. I've seen some fire ass edits too, bro. You're absolutely right, bro. It's been some shit that got me hyped, dog.
Yeah, like
that was dope.
It was kind of, yeah.
But like,
I mean,
yeah, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, even when I think it was Saturday when he originally reposted Floyd's comment or his post on Twitter.
Absolutely.
It was like, yeah, it was like the following day in the morning, mind you, it was like Zach was doubling down when he posted it on his Vero account. He's like, no, look.
Thank you.
This is me.
Right,
like,
precisely what I'm saying. Let's cut that.
I'm putting it out there on Vero.
Let's everybody stop the hesitation. I just want to say that. I just want to emphasize, and I'm gonna let you cook. But I'm on the edge here. Like, let's cut out the hesitation. Let's stop pretending and dancing. Zack Snyder's not an idiot. You could think what you want about the man. As a fan, as a detractor, he's not a fucking idiot. He saw what he saw, and on that day he reposted it.
Us, man.
And then on Vero,
it ain't Zach, bro. It's us, bro.
I know.
It's us,
I know, bro. And I don't care.
It's us, bro.
All we've ever done was have vitriol for that studio. We've had vitriol for people who hate Zack Snyder. We've had vitriol. I've never had vitriol for anybody who's just a fan of Zack Snyder or is somebody just chill, whatever. Never. I'm not gonna dislike somebody for nothing. Like, I don't even dislike fans of who people who hate Zack Snyder like that, like on a personal level. But I will eviscerate you if you cross my path. So if you're not in those categories, why would you be an enemy of me or anything we're doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, go ahead, South Cali.
Yeah, bro.
No, you guys are good. I know you guys. I know this is very much so a moral victory for you guys, and I'm letting you guys have it. I just, from like my point of view,
at least you know. At least you know, bro.
From my point of view, like I'm just a fan going through the motions. I'm gonna support whoever, however I can, to get the thing that I love dearly.
Thank you. Thank you, bro.
It's Zach getting to finish his story with these DC characters. Right?
Facts.
If WB would do it, cool. But obviously, they don't want to do it. It doesn't look like they want to do it. It doesn't look like they even want to entertain the idea of letting it happen. So I'm going to take my attention to those who are at least who are showing Zach the respect and the loyalty that he's always been owed, in my opinion. And that's Netflix right now. That's where he's currently at right now. So I'm just going to show my attention and show it there. And you guys for the most part, I've met you guys in person. I've been in chats with you guys. I've been in, a couple of live streams here and there. I've been in a bunch of spaces with you guys. You guys are good people. I know deep down, you guys are good people. You guys, served this country. You guys have fought for us. I thank you. I appreciate that. At the end of the day, I know I am just literally just another random fan who would like to pretend to be a foot soldier in all of this. I do what I can, however I can, whether it's making a sign, whether it's finding these articles and sharing them with everybody, whether it's clipping videos. I'm just bringing the awareness to saying, like, look, I'm not being, necessarily impartial or leaning one way to another. I'm just letting you guys know, like, this is what's probably happening. This is what's being talked
Absolutely.
about. This is what's being discussed. That's it. I give you guys everything at face value. You guys run with it. But for the most part, we can all look at everything face value and see how either good or bad they are. And in this scenario, I
Absolutely.
don't see Southside versus Netflix as a bad thing. If Zach can retweet it, I don't see why it would be a bad thing. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, and we appreciate that, South Cali guy, man. Yo, you've been real, bruh. You've always just been doing the same thing. Like, yo, people that do the same thing, bro, they don't bother me.
Yep.
Y-
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just
because I know
yeah.
who you are and I know what you do. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Yep.
you be trying to bring awareness and share articles and all that. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying? And
South
you ain't
Cali
never
guy
not done that.
has tweeted sell Snyderverse to Universal for God's sakes. This guy has tweeted everything. I have zero fucking
Everything.
issue
Yeah,
with South Cali guy. I have
bro.
no
The
issue with
South
this
Cali
man.
guy. Yo, wait. The South Cali guy. Has either one of us ever like DM'd you or came up to you and was like, hey man, I don't like the way you be tweeting, bro.
Never, not once. I mean, I've met you guys in person. I've shaken you
Right?
guys' hands.
Facts.
We've had this conversation. We've been pictures. Like I know at the end of the day, you guys want the at the end of the day, bottom line, you guys want the exact same thing like many other fans do. We want to see Zach finish the story, and that is enough for me
That's
to be friends
it.
with anybody. That's enough
That's
for me to
it,
be friends with
bro.
anybody in this fandom. That's it.
That's it,
I
bro.
don't
Yeah,
care
man.
what hashtag you want. Just I would really hate it if they just stop. Just stop.
I
We
yeah.
I
don't
don't
want to
think they know
restore.
what the. I don't
We
think
don't
they
have
understand,
anybody.
bro. Like we don't care. Like the time that I
Yeah.
start that when I start to care is when you say shit like, what does this mean? Why did he repost this? And then you say hashtag restore the Snyderverse, or he just did that for funsies, guys. He didn't really mean anything. Or if you say some shit like fuck those guys and sell Snyderverse, or if you say some shit like, well, I think Zack Snyder was just putting on, and yes, I have this accent specifically for a reason. You know who the fuck I'm talking to and who I'm referring to. That bitch over there said that Zack Snyder was just playing. From the start, it's been like this, man.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's facts, bro. From
She
the
said from the
start, it
start
was
when Zach said
Zack Snyder was just
hashtags
playing.
Snyderverse sell
When
it,
Zack signed my fucking poster,
when
that
he
is a
answered
fact.
the question, of
Damn,
course I would like for it to
damn,
go to a third party.
damn.
She sat there and said,
That is
I
a
just think
fact.
Zack Snyder was just putting on. I think he was just playing. She literally said this. And I have it
Facts.
recorded.
That's
Play
100.
with me. Play with me.
That's crazy.
Play with
That's
me.
crazy. Nah, she literally did say that he was just fucking joking around.
So
But yeah,
this has
it's
never
it's
been about
crazy,
anything
bro.
but bullshit, and it makes me wonder as a strategist, why are you so adamant about making it seem like every time Zack Snyder interacts with the idea of the Snyderverse going to Netflix, why do you pretend as though it's bullshit? And it makes me wonder, are you with Warner Brothers? It just makes me wonder.
Mm,
If you had just as much
mm.
passion for restore and sell Snyderverse at the same damn time without all the bullshit, I wouldn't give a fuck. I really wouldn't care. I'd be like, that's awesome. But that's not how it goes. It comes with, it always seems bittersweet. There's always a middle finger attached to what we're doing, even when they're using what we're doing.
Crazy.
Yeah, but yeah,
Look,
I'm still at work. I mean, I'm at work right now. I just wanted to
Yeah,
come in and
I was just about to
I don't
say.
really focus on anything. Yeah.
I was just about to say, we'll get you up here next time, South Cali. Yeah, I'm saying we
For sure,
appreciate
brother.
you coming through, bro, and we're gonna get the
Of
next
course.
caller up here. And we
For sure.
always appreciate the homie coming through. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yo, next we got. Meanwhile, back on the podcast, I'm about to bring you up, but 1 second, Leon. Hey, that was some crazy shit. Just to be clear, y'all, that was actually a bar because I totally forgot. It has been ever since Zach started interacting with us. It's been like this. Oh, he doesn't really mean it type thing, and that does seem kind of like it just seems rather weird because that seems to go beyond a fandom thing, right? Like that
Right.
seems to be much more nefarious in my opinion, right? Like why is it that every single and if you think about it, that's when everything kind of split was when he signed my poster. That was literally the split moment. That was the
Yeah,
split
everybody was
moment.
perfectly fine
Everybody was
playing
perfectly
their
fine.
positions and playing their roles until we made it to full circle. Asked the man several times consecutively. He wrote things that signified that acknowledged us, and he verbalized things that acknowledged us. He pulled Sky to the side himself and had a conversation with Sky himself alone, talking
Yeah.
about everything.
And there's pictures of
And
that
then after
conversation.
all of that,
Man came right in front of me. It was crazy.
facts.
I was like,
After
wait, is
all
this
of
Zach
that,
right in fucking front of
and after all of that,
me?
then
Right
all of
after
a
we
sudden
got
it
there.
was a problem with the idea of what we're doing. Like, it's insane to me. Anyway,
Yeah, no, that is a stone cold fact, Jack. Ever since that poster, things have been very, very funny. But let's go ahead and bring meanwhile back on the podcast up here. As soon as you got your mic situation straight, you can ask your question and make your comment. Platform is all yours.
Mic's on. Okay, there we go. What's up, fellas? How are you?
Yo,
good. How
yo,
about yourself?
yo. What's going on? What's
Not
going
doing
on?
too bad. Not doing too bad. Scott, I don't know if you remember me. We talked probably, I don't know, 6 months back on one of your spaces, but yeah, we
I
started
remember
following
you.
each other like right
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember you.
Cool beans. Well, yo, it's really good to see that retweet come from Zach and to get up on Vero. That's awesome. That's a good signal. Listen, I've been following Zack Snyder for shit. Like since 300. Like he's been one of my favorite directors for a long time. And that dude doesn't post anything without it having some sort of subtext to it. So there's something to that. Whether it's he's kind of trying to signal to Netflix that whatever conversation he's been having with them is very serious and that there's a fan base here that want it, that could be it. But what I want to talk to you guys about is, and this is going to kind of dovetail nicely with what New Geeks was just saying. I cannot make any I cannot find any logic in why anybody, I'm talking about anybody, I'm not talking about people who are heads of these other movements or whatever. I'm talking about just fans in general. I don't know what is going on with this binary bullshit thinking of like, hey, you can't like Zack Snyder and you can't like James Gunn at the same time. Like this type of thinking, this type of like you have to be in one team or the other bullshit has to fucking end. Like I'm getting like is driving me up the fucking wall. And honestly, I think that New Geeks, what you were saying about like why would anybody even have a problem with us doing this? It's that type of thinking. We've been poisoned by it. Like we're just like this is the way we approach everything now. We approach politics this way. We approach social issues this way. We approach celebrities this way. It's like you can only have one. Like if there's two things that are somewhat in direct opposition of each other in your mind, you can only root for one of them. There's this. We've lost this. We've lost this sense of several things can be true at once. Like we used to live in a world where that was something that we would all subscribe to, that there can be a number of different truths in any given scenario. And it's the same thing with this movement shit where people are trying to, put people into buckets or put them into teams and to get them to, try and rally against the other side because it's like either good for them or something. So like this shit's got to end. It's just weird. Like I think anybody who spends their time shitting on Zack Snyder because they're a James Gunn fan is a weirdo. I think anybody that spends their time shitting on James Gunn because they're a Zack Snyder fan is a fucking weirdo. Like it just needs to end. Like it's ridiculous. It's unsustainable. It's bad for fandom. It's bad for discourse. It's bad for everything. And it's bad for people intellectually. Like you guys want to live in these echo chambers and just have people feed you shit you already agree with, your brain's going to shrivel up and shrink and die. Like that's not how you become more well informed. Is just, absorbing shit that you already agree with. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when you look at these types of things and people get in certain camps, sometimes it can feel like a us versus them type of thing, right? Now with the James Gunn situation, like I don't fault anybody for like liking his films or anything like that. I'm not gonna judge anybody on how they really consume their entertainment, right? That I think is like something wholly different from what's kind of going on with this situation because this is um a bit more nefarious. I don't think that this is just like a hey, this person uh likes Donald Trump, so we're not going to invite them to dinner. I don't think that this is that type of situation. I think that this is something where it's like, hey, you have a group of people who are coalescing around a fan base, and they are engaging with it, and they are saying that, hey, I'm just like you guys. I am one of y'all. And really, that might not be the case. They might not actually end up being fans because most people that I've met in real life, they sound like South Cali guy, right? Where they're more or less gonna just say, hey, um, when it comes to what we're gonna support in terms of what Zack Snyder is doing, whatever Zack's rocking with, they're gonna rock with, right? So that's been the case for this entire time, right? And I've been here from the very beginning, so I would know. But now we're at a space where we're totally in a different area because now Zach is saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to endorse something," and then the same people that may or may not actually be said fans of Zack Snyder, right? Those people are now saying, "Hey, now we're gonna buck the system, and we're gonna take a lot of our engagement or all of their engagement elsewhere. Great chunk of it is usually fake, but hey, it is what it is, right? So um that's entirely something different, I think, than somebody just um having a favorite director. I think it's a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, so we got to parse the two issues. I get what you're saying. So you guys suspect that there's somebody that's either attached to potentially a studio or somebody that's politically in
Marketing companies,
opposition. Yeah,
marketing
okay.
Right.
companies,
Because, like,
yeah.
meanwhile, and by the way, eloquently put, I like what you said, and I appreciate the pretty much the inner topic of the binary thought process because yeah, I can't stand that whole like must think this way or else, but what I was gonna ask you was like if one has heard Zach say on at least one, two, three, he's verbalized that we know of publicly, right? on 3 separate occasions that he wants to and would love for the Snyderverse to be on Netflix, right? And he's liked posts, reposted things on Vero, blah, blah, blah. And he's also come here now and reposted. Why would one fight against that at all if you are like a fan of his and you've constantly said via your track record, hey, I want Zach to continue the DCEU? Why would one come against that if it's not some studio mandated sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you raised a good point. But like I said, several things can be true at once. So let's kind of unpack a couple of ideas here, okay? So, and you know what's funny, guys? I've been in PR for 15 years. So, like, I know the behind the scenes of all this bullshit.
I can tell.
Yeah.
So I was about to say the same thing. I could tell.
Yeah. So I know how it works. So let's look at the first scenario. So let's say it is a PR company that has some sort of mandate to provide opposition to what you guys are trying to do. That could definitely be a possibility. The other thing I was thinking too, as you guys were talking, was anybody who had a different movement or different sort of vector on bringing Zach back into, bringing Zach's story back into, whether it's Warner Brothers or whether it's some other studio, that person could have a vested interest in wanting it to not go to Netflix, for all you know. There could be like some sort of side deal or something that this person has carved out in the future, right? That's also something that could be happening. And funny enough, I evolved from PR and I now run my own production studio for podcasting and feature films and stuff now too. So
congratulations.
I kind of got my foot in both. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Congrats.
So I kind of got my foot in, yeah, thank you. I got my foot kind of in both worlds. So I could see how that could also be possible. But we should be paying attention to what Zach is saying, because if I was Zach and I had this great deal with Netflix, I would want to be showing them good faith by letting them know consistently, like, hey, if this is going to happen, I want you guys to have this, because it earns him credibility, further credibility with the studio, and it also increases his equity with the studio as well. The more that Deborah and Zach can do with Netflix, the bigger part of the studio they become, right? And I'm sure maybe even Zach has his own designs on doing bigger things. Like, he's talking to that guy in the Middle East about that MMA film. Like, he wants to do an MMA film.
Absolutely.
Right? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'm sure Zach has already put a treatment on their desk as well and said, hey, here's the MMA film. Like, can we work on this together? Like, that's always going to be a director or a writer's first course of action, because trying to go outside of your ecosystem to try and get something made is like, yeah, dude, it's almost impossible. Like, you want to play with the people that you've already been playing with. Like, even look back at James Gunn. James Gunn is probably, and he's a very insular guy. He keeps everybody very close to him, and he consistently uses them over and over and over again for every project, right? Like, if you look at the way he casts movies, like, he doesn't really change up a lot. He's also very somewhat formulaic in his approaches, kind of with everything, kind of with writing, kind of with production, kind of with cinematography. So, I'm speaking as somebody who's been behind the camera, and we like familiarity. Like, we do not want to fuck that up. So if Zach has a good thing with Netflix, the reason he's talking about it is because he's already had these conversations with them, and he's just trying to show them, hey, look, this thing is consistently building steam. The fans want this, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of value in what's happening with that.
Right. And yeah. Let me add this, right? We've even known, because I'm not sure if you have ever heard this, but we got wind very early in our campaign through us doing Into the People shirts that hey, it would be appreciated if we could just take the Netflix part off because they didn't want to really just hop on it that early and be a part of it back then, and just kind of keeping that conversation open. So we got that from Zach's team. So this was the first time that he's done something of this magnitude on
Oh,
Twitter,
cool.
obviously.
Okay.
So and even when I asked him at Full Circle, it was more of like an open-ended question about who it could possibly be. When I asked him to sign my hashtags, right, on the poster, he wrote hashtag Snyderverse and under that put sell it, right? Pretty much giving me what I asked for, but not, putting the Netflix on there. So there's been these things where he's been presented an opportunity for us to go ahead with having Netflix and his name be attached to it. And he has not done that until now.
See,
So,
meanwhile, uh, just to hop in real quick, we knew early on creating this idea that utilizing the
absolutely.
word Netflix was going to cause not necessarily a problem, but it would be sort of a canary in the coal mine, as Skywalker likes to say, where we can kind of see little by little where we're potentially getting closer and closer to the thing that we want. Because we know saying Netflix is very specific. It's a lot different from saying, sell Snyderverse blank, sell Snyderverse, and then Zach can hashtag, he can retweet, whatever, but it's kind of meaningless. It's like, okay, cool. He wants to who? If we're saying Netflix, and now we see different actors, different producers, like Scott Stuber when he spoke about our fandom specifically, right? Now we see Zach specifically reposting. It rings it makes the bell ring louder, like, okay guys, we're probably getting closer to something is happening, there's conversations being had, because Netflix was like I see you guys, but let me not put my stamp on it because it has Netflix's name on it. I don't want to seem like I'm interfering with any sort of conversations. I don't want to raise any red flags. Now I can do so. I can acknowledge the name Netflix. I can acknowledge this conversation now. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Well,
mhm.
the other the other plus in that is you're signaling to Zach and to the studio that you guys are totally on board 100% with Zach working with Netflix now. And everything that we've gotten thus far through Zach's work with Netflix has been pretty awesome, if I'm being honest. I love the Rebel
Yeah,
Moon, all
man.
the director's cuts. It was
Yeah,
great.
man.
I loved Twilight of the Gods. That was fantastic. Um, just a lot of good stuff. I'm not a big zombie film guy, so Army of the Dead wasn't like really my
Same
thing,
here.
but I
I
enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
it, but
Yeah,
same here. I'm not a big zombie
yeah,
guy either.
yeah. Like I like the human story and the zombie stuff. Like I like The Walking Dead, but when it comes to like a film, there's got to be something more than just the objective, and like there's got to be something really visceral and emotional in that experience, like trying like for self-preservation to get me interested, and I just didn't find that in Army of the Dead. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, like you guys are signaling that like, hey, we love that Netflix and Zack Snyder are working together. That's a good signal to send out. And it's smart for you guys to put the name in there because that's who he's working with now. So it just
Yeah.
it makes sense. The path of least resistance. What's the shortest point from A to B, right?
Man,
Absolutely.
so ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, like he gets it. This is a man who has worked behind the scenes, PR, behind the camera. He's been in. You've directed and cinematography?
No, just a lot of film, just a lot of camera work, but I'm mostly focusing on producing and writing right now. I'm actually working on a couple of projects that are super freaking exciting. I'm working on a YouTube channel that I think the fandom is really going to embrace really quickly once we get it up and out there. I can't go into too much detail because I've signed a bunch of NDAs, but it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty stoked for it. I'm going to get to sort of play or pay homage to a couple of Zach's films. So it's going to be really cool. So.
Well, definitely let us know if you need any help or if you need any promotion. Gladly, we gladly do it.
I will for sure. But
I'll be reaching out to you soon. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Yeah, but going back to what you guys are saying about the motivations of the people that are sort of just presenting a resistance to what you guys are trying to do. It may be a good idea to try and follow the money if there's any money there at all, just to try and figure out like what's motivating.
Sky, how many times have I said that phrase? Follow the money. That's funny.
Yeah. Follow the
money.
money.
Tells everything, dude. The
money tells everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, there is just think about this, right? Because the way that Netflix goes about their, I just saw something earlier. It was an article saying about how Netflix should start doing like big theatrical runs for their films and stuff like that. And I don't think people get their like monetary structure, right? Like they judge their things off of engagement. Like it's an entirely different way of judging these things. And for Zach to do something like Rebel Moon, which was get 4 films worth of content out of a budget for one film, right? And to be able to get as much engagement as he was able to garner with like no real stars in the cast, right? If you pair that with him doing a sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League after you put the first one on your platform and it can actually like be released worldwide in a proper manner where everybody will be able to get a much better opportunity and like really see it, like this thing could be massive, yo. So I think that there is huge potential there, and they're probably going to do a few IMAX screenings at least. So and I know that for a fact. So yeah, man, this thing's going to be amazing. Like they've been pushing the boundary in terms of things that they've been acquiring. They're getting all into live sports now, live events, all types of things. So I honestly see this as like a no-brainer. It's a win-win-win for everybody. Netflix wins, WBD wins, and the fans win. So hey.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I was thinking another thing you guys might want to follow is if there's any connections to anybody that was bad-mouthing the Snyder Cut once it dropped, like just sort of bad faith maligning, like nonsensical bullshit. Like the type of people are like, oh, it's no different than the original. Yeah, well, it kind of is. There's an entire storyline for Cyborg. There's an entire storyline for Flash. There's like, it's a whole different fucking movie if you really pay attention.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of resistance to acknowledging that it was an improvement, that it was its own movie. There was just a lot of resistance to that. So you guys may want to follow that thread as well.
Oh no, we have, right? But now we're at the thread where you got people that were saying that it's dope that seem like they don't want this to happen, which is just super weird. It's like we're into some whole other territory now. Like we're into some whole other thing, right? And it's like, yo, you guys were all on board with everything, Zach, until now, right?
Yeah.
Until this Netflix thing came up weirdly. Like all of a sudden, this Netflix thing comes up, right? And then some people, hey, they were even supporting the Netflix thing. But then just after we really was steadfast and said, hey, we're going to keep WBD out of this conversation, and we're not going to use that other hashtag or any other hashtags. That was a whole other separation, and then those people started to break off and start trying to kill what we're doing. And it's like, okay, but I thought we were fans. So if you're trying to kill off what we're doing, and this is what I have been saying is the last viable option, right? Was this thing getting sold off? Even if it wasn't to Netflix, we just wanted to open up that conversation. So once it got sold, I mean, once it got opened up, this was the last viable option. So it's like, are we trying to kill the last viable option for Zach being able to do DC? Like, that's weird to me, right?
It
All
is
these,
weird. Yeah,
yeah,
100% weird, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
The like I said, we first started talking. The only other thing I can come back to is tribalism. Like like human beings can be really, really weird and do nonsensical things for the silliest and stupidest of reasons. And that also maybe what's kind of driving that. They're like, oh, this guy's trying to, this guy's trying to steal my thunder of what I've been a part of for X amount of years and trying to divert attention away, which is not necessarily the case. Like, I just don't know why it can't be a collective thing, like I was saying before. But there's a lot of people that just can't see the forest for the trees.
oh yeah,
And they're like, they only see the surface, and they're like, oh,
yeah,
well, this is a threat to what I'm trying to do.
yeah.
So I need to get all fucking defensive and
Oh,
come at
we
them,
were
mano a mano.
absolutely, we were all on board with all of these things until Henry Cavill got fired. And
Yeah.
WBD said, hey, that's when this happened. Like, that is why this thing exists. 100%. This was born of that moment.
It's
Of
interesting
that.
too, Sky, because they all kind of pretend to forget that. Like Sky and myself weren't the ones who like came up with hashtag sell to Netflix because like just because we were bored. We were responding to the fan outcry of being upset.
Yeah.
But for some reason it's like, now it's like that idea is bad because whatever, tribalism, etc. But it's like we didn't cause the problem to begin with. We just had we just gave another more viable, more effective resolution to the problem is what we did. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you guys. And that day where we found out that the whole Cavill thing was just a smoke show, I'm sorry, but that was just piss poor management and internal communication by WB and DC. And they should have owned it. They should have released a public statement apologizing to the fans. That was so fucked up. That is beyond fucked up.
I know you just gave a summary, but can you kind of break that down briefly from a PR perspective, how you looked at it, like your thoughts, like, wow, because I know for you look at it a lot differently than the average. You know what I mean? What were your thoughts?
Well, sure. So, The Rock has his agent who he shares with Cavill. So they clearly cut the deal together and it's his film. He's been on it for 10 years. So I think he just sort of was like, hey, I've been doing this for 10 years. It's, it's kind of my call. I'm going to do this. Maybe potentially he didn't even bother telling the studio that was going to be the end credit scene and just kind of muscled it through. He does have that kind of power. He can do those kind of things. And then, potentially WB was just reacting because they didn't have a new contract with Henry Cavill. If you don't have a contract with the guy, there could be quite a lot of fallout from that. So, it creates a really, really sticky situation. But everybody, all the parties involved should have came to the table and said, you know what, that's a really fucking shitty thing we did to the fan base. We need to make this right. And there should have been some sort of public statement, like some sort of press release, some sort of statement from from the studio and from The Rock and Henry and Dwayne's agent saying exactly what happened and just being completely transparent about it. But they don't want to do that because it's probably just going to reflect poorly on a lot of different people. I would say is probably mostly going to reflect poorly on The Rock, because if I look at it from the outside looking in, it just looks like The Rock muscled that scene through. And then Henry was kind of reacting to it. And that also explains why Henry fired or stopped working with The Rock's agent. Like, he's no longer with her anymore. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Hey, I feel it. It could have been a few different things, man. We we do need that information though on what happened. You know what I'm saying? I think that
Oh,
would be dope.
absolutely.
Cause
Oh, absolutely.
cause yeah.
But
But
yeah, but the
but
fact that
I
you
don't
didn't
know.
have a
I'm
contract with them. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. My only pushback to that would be um if you look at that time overall, there seemed to be a push to kind of connect things with the Snyderverse, just overall, even outside of just the Black Adam movie, right?
Oh, I completely agree. I
Like
completely
they
agree.
brought Ben Affleck back and started using him in Aquaman
Yep.
2 and
Yep.
the Flash, and they started
Yep.
having that connective tissue is that they were adding,
Yep.
but then it just seems that somewhere along the line I think it was something where they chose another co-head for DC Studios that came through and said, "Yo, we're gonna pump the brakes on all this shit, and all of it's getting changed." I think that's
Yeah.
what
Like,
happened.
listen, I'm not going to discount that James Gunn didn't play a role in the aftermath and the reaction to it. I'm sure he was pissed off, like just fucking probably head over, you know what I mean? Like just freaking the fuck out about it. Cause I would be if I was the head of the studio and somebody sent me the final cut of the movie and Henry Cavill's in the end credit scene in a Superman outfit and nobody told me, I'd be like, what the fuck,
I
guys?
mean, I mean,
Like, this
no,
is
like
insane.
no, like he was announced, wasn't it? Like after Black Adam came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He was announced afterwards.
Yeah,
So all
Henry.
this stuff.
Yeah, but Henry announced it himself on his Instagram.
No. I mean, the movie came out,
Right.
right? W- Before James Gunn was announced as DC Studios head.
Right. So, right. But what I'm saying is, I'm sure at some point in the lead up to that, they were already in talks about what they were going to do. Because, like, in this business, you're working like you start working 6 months, 8 months ahead of time. So
Absolutely.
James Gunn has been talking to WB for years about this idea.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say is that he wasn't involved in the process, and I just get the feeling that his reaction was probably not the best. But going back to what you were saying about
because Man of
the
Steel 2
Zack
was
Snyder,
already in development as well. And that's why I just have a hard time believing that The Rock kind of muscled this through because there was a Man of Steel 2 in development as well.
was there though?
Yes, there was. It was a script by Stephen Knight, Stephen Denight, whichever one.
Oh, the guy
Yes.
from Peaky Blinders?
Yes,
Really?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No. This was not just The Rock muscling this through. Like there was a Man of Steel 2 that was being developed at the same time. There were two competing visions. James Gunn's vision was, hey, I can do this cheap reboot, and here we are. Like
Right.
here we are. Like so he was chosen afterwards after Black Adam had already came out, and that's why he never acknowledged that movie, even when hey, he was talking about, hey, the Flash and Aquaman and everything down the line. Black Adam was in theaters and he didn't say anything, right? So I think that this was more or less him coming in and saying, hey, no, all that stuff that you were doing, right? Putting Ben Affleck in these movies and trying to connect them to the Snyderverse, all that's dead. We're gonna reboot everything. We're having a, a new Superman, and I think that's the reality that we're living in right now.
Right. Okay. No, you make a fair point, but I think we need to zoom out a bit and just take a look at the politics and the management history of WB and DC. It's a shit show. It's been nothing but a shit show since day
Multiple
one, right?
regimes. Multiple
Yeah,
regimes.
multiple regimes.
We're well aware.
People sort of talking past each other and doing whatever they want to do. You know, and okay, so let's say everything was kosher up until the point where Henry puts up that post and announces he's coming back, right? For James Gunn to sit back, and even The Rock to sit back and allow Henry to post that, knowing that there was going to be no future to it, that just makes it even. That makes it 10 times more.
He also went on the Josh Horowitz. Wait, so are we saying that was The Rock, and there was no signal from Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi at all that he was possibly going to be coming, or probably? Look, I have a hard time believing that he just went off The Rock's word that he was back. Man of Steel 2 is in development. Ben Affleck's back. They're changing these movies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really,
there's a lot. Like,
there's a lot going on. There was a lot going on.
And all of that was.
He was in the Flash. Wait. Hold on. He was in the Flash. Did The Rock muscle him into the Flash?
Henry Cavill was, yep. But he got edited out.
No, he was in the ending of that film with Sasha Kaye. That whole ending was different, right? They had to go back and reshoot it. That's how you got that George Clooney tooth thing. Right. So did he? I don't think that The Rock muscled him onto the Flash set to go shoot an ending. I think that he was back, and that James Gunn decided once he was made DC studio head, hey, we're gonna pump the brakes on all this, and we're gonna reboot. I think that's what happened.
Okay, but again, like I was saying, you know, these ideas start 6 to 8 months in advance, right? It's movies, so you can't just kind of hire a studio head within 2 weeks of the first conversation.
6 to 8 months, they were bringing Ben Affleck back. 6 to 8 months, they were sick. Yo, all of this was going on ever since David Zaslav came into. No, I'm just because I'm well aware of their studio history. Ever since David Zaslav came in, that man immediately started trying to posture himself with the Snyder fans. Immediately, right? He was like being very generous and kind, kind of hinting towards stuff. They were making all these moves, like, hey, we're gonna bring Ben Affleck back. Henry Cavill is gonna come back and shoot on the Flash now. We're gonna start changing it. All this stuff is months in advance. But also, we know, right, in that same time frame, parallel to that, James Gunn is also saying, hey, we can do this, you know, cheap reboot thing, right? And hey, matter of fact, now that I think about it, the first fracture in this fandom actually came with Black Adam. Now that I think about it, because when we was trying to tell people to go see when we were trying to go tell people to go see Black Adam, you had Snyder fans who had up until this point been lockstep. Everything Zach say, hey, Zach got on fucking camera and said, hey, Henry, you're my Superman past, present, and future. God damn it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But it was an issue from these from these same people that I'm talking about. Right. So that is my question. Does that sound like a regular fan?
Yeah, I remember the pushback on that too, because we posted about it as well. We were like, go see Black Adam, you know.
Yes,
support Henry,
most of those people were not fans. Yeah. They're the same people that are anti-Netflix right now.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why this is so crazy. Because we were lockstep, and then Black Adam, and I see, because you got the right one. Meanwhile, I was literally on camera. I said this before anybody said it. I said, hey, does anybody think it's a good idea if Zack Snyder's Superman is in a movie and it fucking flops? Nobody could answer that question. I was like, hey, for all y'all that are like trying to say, hey, don't go see Black Adam, and you trying to act like you Zack Snyder fans, I'm like, from the outside looking in, how does it look if Zack Snyder's Superman is in a movie? I don't give a fuck about no suit. I don't give a fuck about no Superman theme. I don't care about his curl. I don't care about none of that. It's not gonna look good. When Black Adam had the projections that it did, and then it came out and it did mediocre, and it, you know, which is funny because it actually did pretty damn well if you look at what came out after it. But it did.
Well, yeah, it's the post Snyder. It's the highest grossing, highest profited DCEU movie or DC movie post anything Zach related or Zach approved.
Yep. And so when that happens, I think that when the returns came back and it was like, hey, the Snyder fans didn't show up, right? Look, the Snyder fans didn't show up. James Gunn was chosen. And
that makes a good point.
It's not even a knock to him, right? This was hit because, like, look, if they're gonna choose you to do your thing, then do your thing. I was just like, yo, don't tell me that I can't have what I want still. And we've been fighting all this fracturedness, but it's just been seeming like a lot of this shit is manufactured because those people that was trying to say, hey, I'm not trying to go see Black Adam because of the Superman theme and it's not the black suit. And it was insane.
Yeah, that's some nitpicky bullshit. No, seriously, I think if Black Adam had earned twice back its budget, we'd be in a very different DC right now for sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah,
right.
But
I just don't think it was smart to hinge the Snyderverse off of a Henry Cavill post-credit scene that most people didn't even. I mean, that you couldn't even put in the marketing, even though people knew that he was in the movie. You have to put him in the marketing. Like, if they would have done that, I think people would have showed up, but they didn't. And so, here we are.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, Sky, is the one thing that gets lost the most in this conversation about DC, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. You were talking about some of the other movies that sort of have Zack's fingerprints all over them. But the truth is, the DC film, all the DC films are like 83% Zack's DNA. Like, he cast the Justice League. That's his. He did the whole character design. That's his. Michael Wilkinson did all those costumes. Those are his. That was Zack's guy. The entire visual language of DC, even during Walter Hamada's time, is Zack's. And people don't talk about that enough. Like, that's literally the dude's DNA and his fingerprints all over DC. Like, even as we move into this new era, and I kind of think that's one of the reasons that James sort of wanted to do his little reboot, is because he couldn't escape it, even if he wanted to. If he had kept the same cast, if he had kept the same character design, if he had kept the same, whatever, like, he's kind of just sort of becoming derivative of Zack Snyder. So, he's an artist, and I respect that. But my expectations are cautious as we move forward with DC. The funny thing, and I was actually going to ask you guys about this. Do you notice there hasn't been any dialogue in the Superman trailers?
Yep.
Not a shredded dialogue.
Yep, except "Take Me Home." Yeah, man. Look, I think.
Do you find that weird?
I find this entire thing weird because I understand what you're saying about him not trying to be derivative of Zack, but then I look at that trailer and I see fucking Zack Snyder all in the trailer. Like, that movie looks like a marriage of like Christopher Reeve and a poorly and like a poor man Zack Snyder. Like, it's the slow motion, the Superman trying to look serious and getting hit in the back of the head with a can and flinching and having to puck. Like, yo, just a bunch of that,
Yeah, but it's not his palette, though. His palette's not there though. His color palette's not there. But yeah, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
the color
Yeah.
palette's not there. I mean, but he stole a whole fight scene in Guardians 3, so it's not like I'm like on a limb for saying that this might be true. He stole a whole scene in Guardians 3 from Sucker Punch, right? So like he's been borrowing from him in the past. I don't see why I wouldn't expect him to do it with him being the last person that just handled Superman and James being the very next, right? He even took the whole storyboard thing from him and said, hey, that's how, I even do that on my films now. Hey, yeah, I bet you did. But no, like I don't blame him for doing his thing. It's just I have a problem with him hinging the entire Zack Snyder future on a Henry Cavill cameo, and then now we're in this scenario where at best what should have happened is, or at the very least rather, what should have happened was we got that last little wrap up project or two, and then James could have rebooted. We would have been happy. He would have been able to move forward, and everything would have been fine. But he didn't choose to do that. That's not what he wanted to do. So he has to own that. Like he is the one that altered these movies, right? Everybody wants to sit there and act like, oh, he didn't have nothing to do with Joker 2. I know that that's not a fact, right? He has had his handprints on all these movies that were flopping.
Oh yeah, no, I don't doubt that at all. I think where they really failed, and I'd love to get your take on this, but I've been saying, since literally since I think after, when Hamada was like, oh, we got to course correct here. Um, I think the problem is that they failed to see what the appeal of DC was in a commercial sense. That DC with Zach had its own tone, it had its own color palette, it had its own vibe, it had its own production design, it had its own character design. All the things that differentiated DC from Marvel were the things that made the DC films great because they weren't as cookie cutter, right? They weren't as cookie cutter as the Marvel ones. And if I had been running that studio, I would have just kept on going the way that they were going to go. Because I think one of the things that the DC studio heads don't realize is that they don't have the same cross platform, or sorry, cross genre appeal that Marvel does. That's why Marvel does so well with the mainstream audience. That's why they're consistently doing the numbers that they were doing during phase 1, 2, and 3, is because it was cross genre. It wasn't just a superhero film. It was a superhero film and a heist film. It was a superhero film and a political thriller. Like DC doesn't touch that stuff. So that's why Marvel had the crossover. So, back before Amada took over and they were freaking out, like, how come we're not doing the same numbers as Marvel? Well, because you guys are different than Marvel, but you guys are still doing some pretty freaking impressive numbers, and you should be happy with the numbers you're getting, but they just didn't see the forest for the trees.
Look, I have to say this because I think that that like it sounds right, but I think that there's some other aspects that we weren't looking at, right? One, when you compare the start of the DCEU to Marvel, it was smoking them out of the water, right? And I also think that for them to want $1 billion theatrically from BVS, but then still pull the movie out of China early, which is something that they absolutely did. That movie could have, like, once again, it starts speaking to what the hell is really going on. The toys were selling. The toys are still going crazy. BVS toys and merch outsells Marvel toys and merch. I'm pretty fucking sure. I'm pretty sure. Every time any toy is released, it's instantly gone. It's instantly gone. Instantly, right? It don't matter the price. None of that stuff. right? Peacemaker shit, you find it at Walmart, you find it every gas stations, it's all over the place, right? Now, but once again, you look, they take BVS out of China early.
Yeah.
That's odd. What happens right after that, right? They end up, oh, we just so happen to reshoot, re-edit, and redo his whole movie, and then try to keep his name on it and act like nothing happened,
I know.
right?
That's the mismanagement.
Right,
That's the bullshit
so
I'm talking about. Like,
right, so it's like, why are we doing things that we otherwise wouldn't do with this guy's projects? Like, what is going on here that is so different from everybody else?
Yeah,
Because if
because
you,
my fault. Go ahead.
yeah, no, because I was gonna end on, if you want BVS to make $1 billion, why do you take it out of China early while it's making money? China loves these movies. ZSJL smoked in game in terms of viewership in China. Smoked it,
yeah,
right? But yet we're still here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because I
that's
was
not
gonna
the only
say,
problem. Sorry. Go ahead, Neil.
no, my fault. No, I was just gonna say this as far as when you said the genre aspect and the like cross genre appeal. What I was gonna say is that the DCEU had that from the beginning because they weren't just superhero films, um, which kind of made it more, for lack of a better lack of a better word, it made it more tasty for the audience. I think Man of Steel was like a sci-fi first contact film. It wasn't just like a Superman film, which was kind of what
Yeah,
critics were kind of upset about. And then you go to
yeah,
BVS, and it literally was kind of a political thriller in a lot of
yeah,
ways,
yeah. I could
right?
see, where you're coming from that, but I would also
Wonder
say,
Woman.
oh yeah, World War One. True. Okay.
But before you say
Yeah,
that, I
no,
was
I
just
mean,
gonna say this. Look, I was gonna say I'm not pushing against what you're saying. I'm just saying there is more truth to there it is more of a cross genre than you're giving it credit to. What I would say is this: I probably lean more towards what Sky is saying, which is more so than it being a cross genre problem. Even if you're 100% right about that, it's more of a Warner Brothers is just a studio that likes to tamper with shit for reasons that, I mean, we can come up with reasons. We've come up with reasons, but like, let's just say for reasons unbeknownst to us, right? Like Warner Brothers likes to fuck with their movies to the point that they lose money, and it's really stupid. They'll put more money into screwing up a movie and then lose the potential money that they could have made, and then the product that they come out with, despite their interference, ends up still doing very well, if not great, right? And they think it's because of them, and it's like, no, if you would have just left it alone, things would have been fine. Even
Yeah, you're right.
even
You're right.
Josh's Justice League, it damn sure didn't do as much as money as it should have, but it's still like one of the highest DCEU movies in terms of things that, like, if you take Zach out of it, because they took Zach out of it, right? And they took all his work out of it and they rejiggered it, right? Even that still made a shit ton of money. It should have crossed over into the billion to a couple of billion, if we're being honest, right?
Oh, listen, if they had let Zach do his saga the way that he wanted to do it, each of those movies would have hit $1 billion. Like, I have no doubt in my mind about that.
100%.
Even BBS. So listen, you guys were talking. Sorry, Sky was talking about the whole China thing. Absolutely, that was a total fucking issue. But the bigger issue was that they edited the movie down to be completely incoherent with the plot. Nobody could follow what Lex Luthor was doing because they were taking pieces out of it. So if they had put the Ultimate Edition into the theater the way that we got the Ultimate Edition in home video, that movie would have clocked $1 billion. It would have been a critical darling, and everybody would be singing its praises. And
Yep.
it would have been so good that the Martha thing wouldn't even be a fucking thing right now. Like, it wouldn't even be a thing. I know to a lot of people it's not a thing, but to some people it is. But if they had done the film the way that it was intended to be shown to the audience, that we wouldn't even be having this conversation right
Hey,
now. Zack
I
Snyder
agree.
would be
I
running
agree.
DC. Zack Snyder would be running DC right now.
1000%. I'm gonna add this real quick too, since you're a PR guy, right? Like we have to
Yeah.
talk about, or not even talk about, but we just have to add, and we can talk about it if you want, but we have to add this element of anti-PR interference, where you have literal, like the first signs of bots coming against a movie in droves was Batman versus Superman.
Like BVS.
Yeah. So
Yep.
there was always a campaign going against Zach's work for whatever reason. And we can't ignore that it had to be some sort of studio manufactured thing. What studio it is, who knows? I don't know. Warner Brothers, Disney, who knows? Whatever it was driven by money that had all these bots saying wild shit about BVS in unison, in mass, right? Against BVS. So there was always like this hunger to push to make it an anti-meme film, like the Martha scene. All these weird ass
Oh, we're
tweets
definitely.
that just,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
no.
saying?
Yeah. I think in the aftermath of BVS, there was definitely some corporate politicking
No.
inside
Even
the
before,
studio.
because a lot of the
Oh,
things
okay.
that I
No,
was mentioning happened
this was
before.
before,
What was
bro.
the phrase, Sky? You know the
Yeah,
phrase.
I know the phrase word for word, bro. Batman versus Superman will be a 2-hour tracking shot of all the DC superheroes crying in the rain. Facts, bro.
That shit
Who wrote
Facts. That
was.
who
shit.
wrote
Have
that?
you
Who
ever
wrote
seen the
That's
that?
compilation of that?
No, who wrote that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
no.
yeah.
It was thousands of fucking accounts. It was thousands of accounts
Yep.
that was
Really?
tweeting
Yep.
that exact
Before
phrase
Batman vs Superman came
well
out,
before well before Batman vs Superman came out.
sparking
Facts.
Really?
sparking the it was like the snowball
On
of looking at Batman vs Superman as this like shitty little dreary movie that's about to come out, right? It was that, and it was
yes.
other weirdo tweets that came out. And then there was like this Martha tweet campaign that happened after that too. I'm gonna try to get a compilation of that, but yeah, the thousands started with that phrase right there, and it became kind of like a running joke among people who noticed it. Like, wait, what's going on? Like, why are there all these dead
Yeah.
accounts?
That's a PR attack.
Exactly.
Okay, let me think on this for a second. Okay, the only thing that I'm coming up with is when Whedon took over on Justice League, he probably had some friends within the studio that were hoping that the film would do better. And then when the backlash started, because the backlash was pretty immediate, everybody was like, "We want to see that. We want to see Zach's real film. We want to see Zach's real film, um, etc." That's fucking weird, dude.
No, man. No. See, you're almost there. Just let me hold your hand for a little bit longer.
All right.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. Right. And we kind of had a stream where we went super in depth with this recently. I think I just so happen to believe this is my thoughts and beliefs. I am not saying that this is a fact, but what I think happened is that there has been a significant push from people at Warner Brothers who are kind of close with some people that was over at Disney, and there's been a campaign to slowly kind of marvelize the entire DCEU, because you can't have Zack Snyder's DC crossing over with Marvel. You just can't. They're just too different. But if you dumb down the DC, you could possibly do it. And you slowly keep bringing people over, like you're bringing over Joss Whedon, then you bring over James Gunn, right? And then all of a sudden, David Zaslav has all these fucking former fucking Disney executives that are in like his
You
inner
also have
council,
Jeff Johns
and
early
then
on, who's seemingly a DC guy,
yep,
but he's
Jeff
also
Johns,
working for
who
Disney, and Kevin Feige because they used to be
yep,
old college roommates.
yeah, like Jeff Johns and Kevin Feige are college roommates, absolutely. And there's been this push to like marvelize DC this entire time, and now you're in a situation where not only is DC in shambles, to where not only would a crossover help them, right? but it would also be at a state where DC is pretty much easy to be bought right now. And you're going to have people that are really interested in buying DC, and that could be several companies, right? Could be Disney, who already has Marvel, and then they could be looking to do crossovers just ad nauseum, right? Because if you have, what was the quote? All the toys in one toy box, and then you have James Gunn, who was Kevin Feige's right hand man, right? Could also be over just all of comic books, you know, all of comic book films, King of Two Castles,
Let me
right?
ask you, do you guys know if Disney has any stock in Warner Brothers? If they own any of the company?
If who has any
of their,
stock?
if Disney, or if any of Disney's or any of their affiliates, or ABC or any of those organizations?
Yeah. I'm not sure if they have stock. I do know that it is weird that whenever that there has been a significant opportunity for DC to have a real chance to compete with Marvel, they turn around and try to fucking reboot or do something dumb. Every
Wasn't
single time that DC is in a place where, hey, we could really make a splash, right? Like recently with the Black Adam situation. Hey, we can bring back Cavill. We can finish the Snyderverse, right? Marvel's kind of on their last legs. Everybody's tripping about Phase 4. People aren't really going to the theaters like that, right? They're not really watching these Disney Plus shows. We could finally bring Zach back and make a huge splash, right? Especially post ZSJL, right? I mean, this thing was a global fucking phenomenon. Why else wouldn't you bring it back, right? And then all of a sudden, oh no, we're not gonna do that. And then hey, Marvel gets their shit together. Now all of a sudden RDJ is back. They're gonna fucking Chris Evans back. Everybody's back in these movies. All the Fox characters. Everybody's back, guys. Now we can finally compete. Right? Same thing happened with Justice League. If Zack Snyder's Justice League, even that 3.5 hour version that he was trying to put out,
Yeah,
we would. This is a different world that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
All this like Marvel dominance and like, oh my God.
let me add this real quick before I forget. To answer your question, meanwhile, and Scott, maybe you can help me out with this. Didn't the CW, wasn't it created because of Warner Brothers and Disney collaborating along with somebody else, I think?
Oh, yes. If I'm
because it used to be just WB, and then like the WB network, and then it became the CW because of UPN, something Disney related, and Warner Brothers at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna have to look into that. By the way, you guys can call me Frank. My name's all over the internet for the host of our podcast.
Hey.
So don't worry about that.
You said Frank?
Yo,
what's up,
yes.
Dude?
We appreciate you coming through, Frank.
Yeah, no worries. So,
all right.
You were saying about the cross genre stuff. Yeah, you made some good points there. But the one thing I'd argue that DC has done way better than Marvel is kept the comic bookness, the cartoonishness of their production design. I'm not saying that it feels cartoonish in the way their action sequences or anything like that, but the look, the costume,
the iconography.
The iconography is
absolutely
still there. Marvel has definitely lost that. They've definitely lost that, which I think has made it a little bit more appealable to the mainstream. But yeah, so that's interesting. So you guys think it may be just listen, when I say this, I'm not trying to denigrate or anything, but you guys think it may be like an actual coordinated conspiracy to keep DC
corporate espionage. Absolutely.
I mean,
that is
it. Look, it's either that Warner Brothers is so damn incompetent that they can never get their shit right, or it's a little bit of just, I don't know. They're trying to streamline ideas towards immersion of something. It just kind of looks like it to me. That's
well, you know what? It's funny. That's the same thing that people say about 9/11. It was either a complete disaster from a bunch of idiots that just let things fall through the cracks, or it was coordinated. Like there's two choices there.
Hey,
Yeah.
You never know.
Excuse me. Or a 21-year-old getting on top of a roof and shooting at the president. You know what I'm saying? But look, we appreciate you coming on, Frank. We got to get to the next caller, bro.
Yeah,
man. You added a lot to the conversation.
100%. Yeah, thank you for showing up, man.
Yeah, good talking to you guys. Take care, right?
Absolutely, Frank.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Yeah, man. We was talking to Frank for a minute. I saw CY98 dipped out because he was waiting. But hey, we'll get back to him later if he come back through.
Now that was a good addition to the conversation, though, because
absolutely.
And yeah, I already know you feel that way. He added to the conversation. He also gave different perspectives, pushback. This was just a very I don't know. It was a very good conversation. I appreciate that conversation. Even when we disagreed, it was something that came out of it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like y'all who know us, y'all already know. I don't have to say this, but for those who don't, like, we're not some freaking hive mind here. Like, we're not just you must agree or we're going to beat you up and cuss you out. Like, no, man. Like, we can have disagreements and have conversations. I learned something from Frank. Frank seemingly learned things from us. Like, this is how life works. You have conversations, you disagree, you figure things out, and you shake hands at the end. Not because you're now biblically aligned, right? as quote unquote. No, because we mutually respected each other's ideas and our conversations. That's it. Like, we respect each other, and hopefully we can do it again. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Right. Let me get to the next person. We got Cash Money Zach.
I meant religiously aligned, not big. Y'all know what I meant. Anyway.
Yeah, it was still funny, bro. You know what I mean? Cash Money, as soon as you got your mic, this situation straight, you can ask your question and make your comment. The platform is all yours. I don't know if it added him. You know, sometimes it does that. Add people in it, drop them out, drop them back down. I don't know what happened. But that was a great conversation, though. That was a great conversation, and I hope Frank comes back through next time whenever we're having these spaces. Right. And I'm glad that it's me and Leon having these conversations too, because we've really been here like from the beginning of this whole fandom shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, between us two, we pretty much got this whole timeline down back. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
I even think that we showed that on like stream because we had an actual timeline. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100% had a timeline for sure. And you know what's funny is, like, I never really think about these things until we have these sorts of conversations where like we're having to recall in literal, like, you know, chronological order, like what took place, you know?
Bro, I ain't gonna front because Frank almost got me until I forgot about. I mean, because I had totally forgot that Man of Steel 2 was in for the development, bro.
Yeah.
And then that's like what led to everything else. But I was like, oh yeah, man, they was 100% doing Man of Steel 2. I was like, bro, they was totally pivoting towards the Snyderverse publicly, you know what I mean? And was doing all these, hey guys, Ben Affleck's back. Batfleck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
remember my Aquaman, my post went viral.
Picture with Jason Momoa, right? Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that joint was crazy.
Know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Nah, but this has been great, man, and I'm just glad that we're actually able to be here and have these conversations about the fandom and just about what's happened, because I do think that this is kind of ground zero, bro, for a lot of this like PR and marketing shit, man. Like, wouldn't you agree, bro? I mean, that has kind of been tested on us.
It's funny because, you know, I know people would probably say this sounds like conspiracy talk, blah, blah, but it's like you have to test this shit out somewhere. And what better play? If I'm a PR person and somebody like Frank would be able to correct me or, you know, guide me in the right direction. But if I'm a PR person just thinking about because we're both former military. We're both military men. We know strategy, right? And if I'm PR, I'm trying to go to one of the weakest places in order to see if I can manipulate a fandom or a people into doing what I want, right? What better way to go to a place with a bunch of nerds on the cusp of the golden age of making, this genre blow up, right? I go to comic book films. And I'm not trying to diss people who like comic book films, but, it's largely a bunch of people who just read comics. It's nerdy. And that's like, again, that's no slight. That's just, it is what it is. That's the culture. If I'm a PR firm, I'm dropping every bot, every intern, every developer, like little grenades. I'm just dropping them in to see what happens and push whatever narrative I want throughout. And I'll even have live people who will come up on camera and create podcasts and tell you what to do and what to think. And I'll even have them appear next to your favorite director every once in a while, not in life, but on screen. And I'll have little podcasts called The Alcoholics, Love Film, right? If you know, you know.
He said Alcoholics Love Film.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Oh my God. The movie addict.
Right.
Right.
Right. That part.
Nah, that's funny, bro.
That part.
Nah, I totally agree, man. Because this stuff goes back to before Batman versus Superman, and you know what my theory always is, bro. Right? On
for sure.
when the change happened, right? The change happened at the Captain America Civil War set visit.
Oh, 1000%, bro.
100%. Everybody before that set visit, everybody was hyped for that shit. I was watching all the YouTubers. I was watching all the content, engaging with it. Everybody was hyped for BVS, bro. From that damn announcement, bro. From that announcement alone with Harry Lennox,
Hall
right?
H,
There's
I was
no
there.
way. There's no way that anybody could see that and not just be on 11, bro.
Bro, Hall H was explosive.
You know what I'm saying?
Hall H was explosive.
Bro. I bet.
I was pushing people that I didn't even know. I was there with a couple of homies, but I was pushing people that I'm next to me. We were pushing each other it was an explosion, man. You don't walk out of that going, bro, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, no, everybody was hyped, bro. The castings were coming. People had some trepidation, but then the pictures started coming out. And then it was oh shit, this shit actually looks pretty dope, bro. And everybody was going ham. Everybody was happy until that damn Captain America set visit.
Yep.
That Captain America set visit happened. Everybody came back acting different. Everybody came back acting different. From John Campea on down, bro, to whoever. Right? Yo, from John Campea, who was the king of that shit, on down. Everybody flipped on BVS. And I was like, yo, what the hell is going on, bro? Right? Then it was all these things, and oh my God, I don't know what they're doing. And then I do have to kind of disagree, and I'm mad that because I tried to get this in here when Frank was on the panel, but I totally disagree about BVS being incoherent, the theatrical version.
I knew you were gonna go there. I didn't even want to because I knew it was just gonna. I knew it was gonna. I felt it. That's why I kind of jumped in and said, "Yep," and just kept it moving. And I disagree too, but I was like, we can't do this.
Yeah, bro.
I was like,
I don't think it was incoherent.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. It wasn't. Man. It was coherent enough to where you can enjoy the film. I don't remember people in real life that I talked to saying the movie sucked and it was incoherent. It wasn't until Collider. It wasn't until AMC Movie Talk, Collider. What was the other one? What was that other channel, man? They used to do that stupid. Oh my God,
Schmoes, bro.
Nah, it was the other one with the
I don't know.
this. Good lord, man. He was kind of. They were kind of adjacent to Collider, but anyway, those people almost had it too, man.
Yeah,
Anyway, though,
y'all
but
know,
it wasn't
cause
until after
just
that everybody started trying
Collider
to
on down,
adopt.
cause
Yeah, everybody started
facts.
trying to adopt this notion of like it's incoherent, and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I watched that movie like 5 times in the theater, bro. That movie was not incoherent, dog. I watched that shit at the Chinese theater to this day, bro. And that is the same place where I saw Endgame at too. So I've seen both. To this day, Wonder Woman saving Batman's life has the loudest pop of any theater I've ever been in. That shit topped Captain America wielding fucking Mjolnir, which I even thought was a dope moment. I was like, oh shit, all right, that was dope. You know what I'm saying? But no, like that totally no.
Yep.
BB Wonder Woman saving Batman's life. That theater exploded, bro. It got a standing ovation at the end of the movie. And as I always say, I saw that movie with a larger sample size than 99.9% of you guys. Because I saw that shit at the Chinese theater, which is the third biggest theater in like America or like some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the biggest
Mm-hmm.
one in the West Coast. So yeah, like it was a huge crowd there. The Batmobile was outside, bro. They had the suits there. Everybody went ham. I was I even was asking the ushers, was like, yo, what's the reception been? And he was like, yo, it's getting standing O's like everyone, like, which it got a loud one at mine. And then I went on the internet and everybody hated that shit. It was the weirdest experience to this day I've ever had watching any kind of movie.
Yeah, me and you had a similar experience. Where I'm at, I told you about the fan event that we had
Yeah.
that was
You saw it
earlier before the
early.
actual debut.
Early. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was blessed enough to see it early because I went to this fan event before that where Zach dropped like a clip, an exclusive clip. It was a clip where Superman and Batman are running at each other. Batman has the armor on and they're going through the wall. And we were like, oh shit, da, 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 da. And we had to
Wait a minute,
sign.
you were at that too?
Yeah,
God damn, man. I fucking remember seeing that clip like a fucking version of somebody's phone. I was going crazy. I could,
yeah. So I
yeah.
didn't even know that. Well, I should have known, but I didn't even think to like right now. I didn't even think about it spreading out past that moment. But yeah, I was there with my homie, who I told you about him. I ain't gonna say it now, but anyway, um, industry. I'll just say that. Anyway, we went and we signed our names in the back of the card and our freaking email addresses, etc. And then the day that the actual like early fan thing that was going on happened, I almost missed out on it. And this is when I made my first Twitter account because I was never on Twitter because I was like, why? What's the point? I made my Twitter account because people were telling me to reach out to Warner Brothers or somebody on Twitter to get my shit renewed. Or I forgot who I reached out to. I think it might have been somebody Warner Brothers related. But anyway, they emailed me that same like damn near moment and was like, you got your tickets. I was like, yes. So then I popped up, went through, and everybody in that theater was engaged, clapping, laughing, watching the movie, etc. After the movie was over, when Wonder Woman came through, we all went nuts. As we were walking out, we're all talking about how crazy the movie was, how dope it was. Like nobody left the movie going, "Oh, this sucked." We're all like, "Wow, this is kind of nuts." Like, yo, I can't believe they killed Superman, but y'all know he coming back. Did you see the dirt? Well, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Blah 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 blah. And then literally, not too long after that, however long later, it was a bunch of bullshit. People, oh, this movie's too dark. It's too this. It's too that. And narrative, 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 narrative. Tracking shot in the rain. Tracking shot in the rain. Tracking. It was like, bro, like what's on? The experience I had and continued
Yeah.
to have because I watched it about 5 more times after that.
Yeah, bro.
Every time I went, with
I
different
saw that
people.
shit in
We were all cool
IMAX,
with it.
bro.
Facts, me
Bruh,
too. The
bruh,
IMAX out here.
bruh. That movie, dog. Look, when Superman told him next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go to it. And Batman go and turn that shit on himself. And then when he pull up, he said, "Well, here,
Well, here
like
I am.
I'm
That
with
joint
the
was dope.
shits, bro. Oh my god, man! All the little details, bro.
Hey, do you remember the
All the
narrative
little
that they used to
details,
have
dog. Oh my
when they
god,
said that
bro.
the reason that this isn't gonna work is because uh we didn't have time to fall in love with both of the actors and the characters. That if it was so dumb, I was like, bro, we know Superman and Batman as characters just in general. Like,
Bruh. I'm like, yo, we know Superman so much. My mom know that the sun's supposed to recharge Superman, so him needing help from crypto don't make no damn sense. My mom said that, bro. On God, my
facts,
mom said that, bro.
facts.
On God, right? And you wanna know what also funny? That reminded me, and I'm actually gonna tell this story on stream later. Um, bruh, there was a conversation that I was having yesterday that really just it really messed me up, man. Because look, you know how much like we like love this Zach shit, you know what I'm saying, and how much that we can kind of feel like, man, sometimes it's just like us and our Snyder types and all that or whatever, right? And it's just the
Mm-hmm.
cultists, you know what I'm saying? Bro, I was having a conversation with a 62-year-old Korean woman, bro,
Mm.
yesterday. And you want to know what she was telling me, dog?
What's that?
How much she loved Rebel Moon, how much she loves Zack Snyder's movies, bro, and how he's one of her favorite directors, and she didn't seen all his shit. And I'm sitting there, dog, and it dawned on me because I got an extra one of them Rebel Moon books. I got one that's signed and one that's not. I was like, I'm gonna give her that other book, bro.
Hey, that's dope, bro.
Right. But it just goes to show, dog, this shit is not just us, man. They try to like make it seem like that. And I know that the internet, it like a lot of times it can seem that way, but I've been bringing this up ever since I found out this stat. They said that only 35% of what we see on the internet is actually from fucking human beings. Like
Yeah, dead internet, bro.
the vast majority of this shit is fucking bots. Like when you think about it in that way, like only 35% of what you see on the internet is actually from human beings. It puts shit in perspective. Like, man, nah, yo, in real, bro, I go to these exact events, dog. This shit, bro. You remember, because I was even telling her, you remember that whole Asian family that flew across the world, bro, and to go to the fucking
Yep,
director's
I
cuts,
was there. Yep, I remember
bruh.
that.
And they had elder people in there too that was rocking out at a fucking double feature. And in the hot sun, standing out and waiting to talk to Zach. Right?
Yep.
Bruh, come on, man. Nah, bruh. I can't be allowing like because I know what it is. I know that we see a lot of this shit on the internet, and people just be thinking that it's like this vast majority of people that be feeling that way. But in real life, that's just not what I've experienced, bro.
Nah,
It's
the
just
only
not,
people
man.
that really have these opinions in real life that I've noticed are people that are perpetually online. I've only literally met one person that doesn't like this Zach stuff. Uh, who was an older gentleman who wasn't online like that. He genuinely didn't like it. Literally every person that I can think of right now that I've ever met that doesn't like, Zach's DC is because they're always online. They have everything. They have Instagram, they have Facebook, they have Twitter, They have all that shit. And they say the same exact things, the same exact
The
rhetoric,
exact talking points.
the exact talking points that you see online.
Bruh.
Like they sound like they've
I
been
be
conditioned just to say that. Martha.
dude,
And it's like,
I
I'm
be
like,
telling you,
bro,
bro.
have I fought with you on Twitter?
Look, that one time I was at work and I be telling people this story, bro. This chick that I work with, she was like, "Yo, I don't like DC movies. DC's their problem is that they're trying to compete with Marvel, right? Same talking points, literally from John Campion, right? They're trying to compete with Marvel, right? And I was like, "Yo, what don't you?" I was like, "Have you seen Man of Steel?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That shit was dope." And she was like, "Yeah." And Man of Steel was really good. I was like, "Have you seen Batman vs Superman?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Did you like that?" And she was like, "Yeah, that was pretty good too." I was like, "Have you seen Wonder Woman?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I really love Wonder Woman. My daughter loves that movie." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Yo, even at that point, I'm like, have you seen Aquaman?" She's like, "Yeah, I really like that one too." I said, "So what if and Suicide Squad?" She loved that one. She's like, "Oh yeah, I really love Harley Quinn and I love Deadshot and how her and Joker were so toxic." Right? I'm like, and literally to this point, that was all that had come out.
Right, right.
And I asked her, I'm like, "Why you don't like? Hold on. What do you mean you don't like DC?" And she literally said, "I don't even know why I said that." That is legit verbatim what she said to me. I don't even know why I said that. When I asked her on a legit basis, movie by movie, and all I left out was Justice League. That was it. She liked every movie on an individual basis.
Bro,
But then said, "I don't like DC." The shit was weird,
I'm
bro.
not surprised. And it goes like you remember the example that I gave when I was kicking it with that shorty, and over that weekend that I'm kicking it with her, I said we're gonna watch every Zack movie in the DCEU, right? And she was like, okay, begrudgingly, because her last experience with BVS was Martha, right? She's a Ben Affleck hater. She was a Martha this, Martha that chick. Sounded like she was from Twitter. We watched all those movies. We watched Man of Steel. She was hyped. She loved the relationship of Lois and Clark. She was all on board. We watched Batman versus Superman. She was also hyped. She was engrossed. She was engaged in it. When Superman died, she felt a way. She said, but he comes back, right? We watched ZSJL. Not only did she almost cry from enjoyment, she was worried about Batman dying in the film. And this is a Ben Affleck hater. She does not like Ben Affleck. She started to like him after that. Bro, when you take people away from PR bullshit and semantics and the internet and just watch the movie, I wasn't influencing her. I'm just laying there on the couch with her. She laying all up on me, asking me questions. And I'm not spoiling it. I'm just smiling at her. She's like, no, you gotta tell me. Does he die? He's not gonna die, is he? Is he gonna die? And I'm just laughing at her like, and I was like, I'm gonna hold all my thoughts until afterwards. Because I'm about to give it to her, yo. And I let her have it, peacefully, obviously, playfully. I was like, you were the biggest Ben Affleck hater. Oh my God. Martha this, Martha that. She even was like, after the Martha scene, I get it now. I get it. I get it now. So, bro, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. In real life, it's
I don't
different.
know either, bro. I don't know, bro. Like most people that I know that watch that stuff like it, and once again, um, the fact that they pivoted away from everything, even at that time, just makes no sense, bro. Like financially, it makes no sense. That movie was a hit, bro. And we're also sitting here talking about how much that movie made financially without even bringing into effect that a lot of that was paid for by product placement too, just like with Man of Steel. So like, man, not only did it smash records on like physical media, but toys were selling out. You know, the impact that it had on the zeitgeist was crazy. It was Batman versus Superman stuff everywhere, bruh. They made a killing off that movie, bruh. So much so that the producer even had to kind of come out and say it. And you even had people arguing with the producer, bro. Right?
Yeah, that
Like
was crazy.
it's so
He
weird, bro.
literally
It's so weird, dog. It's
he
so
literally even
weird, bro.
said he was like, look, like I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically like, I'm not saying Zach always made money off of everything. You know, he even said Sucker
He
Punch.
said Sucker Punch, they lost some money on. He was like, and like the Owls movie didn't do too well.
Right. He
He
said, but
was like,
everything
but
else
Zach's
was
DC
highly
shit.
profitable.
He said it was very profitable. Very.
Yep. Very
Right? And
profitable.
then you
Very.
literally had people that are like it just and then they wonder why we call them bots, bro. They was like, oh, of course he's gonna say that, but one man's this is another man's. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like you're arguing with the people that actually took part in the profit now?
Crazy, man.
You're arguing with them?
Watchmen editions,
Come on,
special
dog.
editions always sell out. I,
Anyway.
I used to have to get the Watchmen special editions on the aftermarket because they sell out
Bruh,
so damn fast.
we was ordering ZSJL Blu-rays from Europe, bro.
Facts, bro. My first copy, a physical copy,
They don't even facts.
was from
Me
Europe.
too.
The
Me
Amazon from
too,
Europe.
bro. Facts. We was literally having to order ZSJL from Europe, bro. And they act like, bro, you even had people trying to question our passion, bro. Oh my God. Look, before this go off the rails, bro, let me Woo. Look, let's go ahead and start closing this up. If anybody got no more questions or comments, because I do got to get ready for like a stream later, so I need some time to walk my dog and be a human being for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So
Facts.
look, man. As we kind of close this thing on out, bro, what's your final thoughts, man?
I think this stream was very productive, man. I think we pretty much laid out why we do this and why we're shaking our head and scratching our head at the same time at pushback against what we're doing. And we're also celebrating that Zack Snyder just reestablished that he's on board with what we're doing. So that's how I'm gonna look at it. I'm not even gonna explain. I'm done doing that. I'm done doing all this explaining about what Zack Snyder does. Like, you either understand or you don't at this point. I don't really care. Like, the man does things. He could do things 2-3 times in a row and on different platforms, and they'll still be like, "Well, I don't get it. Explain it to me." And no, I don't. I think he's just joking. No, I'm good. So we laid everything out. We're celebrating, and thank you, Zach, for being on board. This 318 day was productive, just like every trending day we do. There's always a purpose. It's not just a trend, because numbers are numbers. It is what it is. The idea is out there. The win, the W is in the idea. It's out there already. It's already been talked about in interviews by executives and Zack Snyder himself, and actors and actresses and people behind the scenes have either spoken directly to us or they've given engagement through various platforms, right? So none of this is new. We're still doing the same thing. It's all good. We're just waiting to see what happens, Hopefully it gets sold. I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? All the other stuff is semantics, all the little roadblocks, the tiny little roadblocks, mostly the social media roadblocks and the trying to derail us as far as our hype and as far as our passion and all of that is just like, who cares? I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Sky's gonna keep doing what he's doing. The Syndicate Network is gonna keep doing what we're doing, and we're just gonna keep it moving. Thank you, Frank, for coming through. Uh, he added a lot to the conversation. He added a much needed sort of a foil to the conversation where we can go back and forth and parse through, extrapolate ideas, and reaffirm some things, remind people about some things. So, no, this was dope, man. And once again, Sky, I appreciate your passion behind the scenes and everything you do. Those pictures were dope. And, you know, I can't wait for people to see what Project Year 2 is about. I haven't really said anything about it or even posted anything because, you'll see soon. Sooner rather than later, I should say. I don't know. We'll see. But this is always dope, and this always reignites my fire and passion for doing what we're doing. So, everybody, let's keep it up. You guys are awesome. Hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix. Hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix. Not because we think it's cool, but because it just is cool. Not because we think it's effective, but because it is effective. Not because we want it, because Zach wants it. Peace.
Hey, we appreciate the homie Leon being here. Always, man, and giving your thoughts. And I want to say thank you to everybody else that stopped through as well. And even the people that we tried to get on and that we couldn't. My apologies. Hopefully if y'all
Oh, yeah, and everybody else, my
next
fault.
time
South Cali guy.
we'll be able to get y'all in. Right. Oh yeah, and shouts out to everybody that came out and rocked through too. And it just listened. This has been a very dope
Absolutely.
conversation. I'm very glad that we were able to hold this space. I think that a lot of what was discussed here is definitely things that need to be discussed publicly because a lot of times people do have questions, right? And they do because they may or may not be into all the minutia is that we were into, especially like just during this entire time, because we're like super locked in on all this shit that happened with Zach, just because a lot of us was there and we've just kind of evolved ever since released the Snyder Cut, right? We've just been constantly evolving as a community, and now this is kind of what it is. So the fact that we're able to kind of come together on days like this and have these kind of conversations and just kind of metaphorically break bread with one another is super dope, and I'm just glad we're able to have these opportunities to do so. Being a part of that recent little Netflix thing was super dope. Being able to share those images with you guys, we went from you know what I'm saying. Uh, we we went from full circle, right, to the Rebel Moon release party to the red carpet, right, from to Stone Quarry, right, and now we went in. Now we went to the Netflix HQ, right. So we are definitely covering all bases. We were there for Twilight of the Gods, right. We're gonna be there wherever these conversations are taking place, and we're gonna make sure that we're just always trying to keep the focus on the main thing, which is getting Zach this universe back. Because I just see too many things in my normal everyday life that let me know that we're on the right path. I'm constantly seeing things and constantly having conversations, and it's like, wow, why am I the one that's sitting here hearing this right now? Like I've shared this story before, how I was at just a friend of mine's barbecue, and he tells me about his baby moms and how she loves Zack Snyder stuff, and I start talking to her, and she's like, "Yeah, that movie saved my life," and then she's like explaining to me how and why it took place, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, why am I having this conversation? Like, why is this happening to me, right? But what I didn't know at the time was that these things were preparing me for what we're doing now, because I totally can see and feel why this thing needs to come to fruition. Because I know that damn Snyder cut that we got out saved lives. I know that for a fact because I've spoken with not even just her, but several people that have told me that. Right? So, no, is there is no, like, that was just the most surprising one because would never expect to have that conversation in that venue, right? Of just at a barbecue with the homie, and then he telling me about his baby moms, and I'm like, what? She loves Snyder shit, and I started asking about the Snyder cut, and she just started going in about Cyborg and blah 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 blah, and yo, it was so great. Yo, it was so great, and I was at such a down point in my life, and then I was just like, wow, you know. Um, I don't take those moments for granted
Definitely.
now. Yeah, I don't take those moments for granted at all. And so that's why I'm so serious about this, is because I know what, this fan base has saved lives. She didn't even know about all the AFSP stuff. I mean, she noticed it in the film, which she spoke about, but she ain't know about Zach's history with AFSP and with the fan base and all that stuff, right? But yet, it still resonated with her in that way, right? Those are the things that I think about when I'm thinking about why this is, like, why we're doing what we're doing. And so it just, it rubs me the wrong way when I see people that, try to act like one of us, but then um do other things for other reasons. And it's like, yo, man, it's cool, right? Like, I'm not saying people can't be content creators and like for talk about whatever, right? Legit never had any kind of conversation with that. I mean, like that with anybody, right? With anybody. I don't police anybody's content. I don't care what people talk about. I don't care, right? What I care about is how you're interacting with us and the community. E- like, and that's it. It stops and starts right there, like with how you are interacting with us and the community. That's it. As long as there is that respect given, and we ain't crashing out, it's like cool. And even if there is a crash out on the other side, we can just agree to just keep moving forward, and it ain't even got to be no big thing, right? We've tried to not make it big things in the past, right? But usually what happens is, if we slowly kind of just separate, usually at some point a crash out happens. Then it's like, okay, now if we don't say anything, you know, do you just let this sit or what have you? But no, like, I don't want to hear anything else, man. We have done nothing but put this entire community above everything, right? And we're gonna continue to do so, right? And we've have taken a lot of bullets for that, and we will continue to take them. But let's just not pretend like the bullets aren't there and aren't being shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I care about. But yeah, anything else, Leon? Because I'm about to close on out, dog. I'm feeling great today. I'm about to do some more tweeting. About to walk my dog, dude, and I'm about to get ready for this stream tonight. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we summed it up nicely, man. Let's put a bow on this one, man. This was good. This was good. This was good. I really dig it.
Yep, for sure. All right, y'all have a good one. Y'all
Oh,
make
the only other thing I'll say is my fault is thank y'all for coming out. I think I said that before, but thank y'all again for coming out like usual, man.
yeah. Oh
Y'all
yeah.
be showing up and showing out. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait, should I do a stream
mhm.
or should I just play this? Nah, I'm gonna do a stream.
um,
I'm gonna do a stream. I'm
maybe
gonna do a stream.
both. If anything, both. Definitely do this one though.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll just make this one a separate one. Yeah, but I'll do a
yeah,
stream.
yeah, and we could
Yeah, because I
we can
gotta
duel this one.
visualize and talk my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Y'all gotta see
Yeah.
me. Y'all gotta see me and deal with me tonight. Y'all gotta see me tonight, bro. Nah. Y'all ain't getting away with not seeing this face tonight, boy. That ain't gonna happen.
But yeah, bro,
Yep.
this is dope.
Yep. All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Y'all be sure to I almost said give a like and subscribe. See, all bad, bro. And look, we closing out. We'll get at y'all next time. Peace.
Bang.